The project is to repair this and paint the wall after restoring this very mild texture. First thing we're going to do is to shave off these edges and try to give ourselves a 45-degree angle so that we can fill this in and make the transition between the repair and the existing wall more smooth. So we take off the rough edges. Now, instead of having this piece, the edge of which is higher than this, we now have reduced any bump by cutting off this edge and this edge with a 45-degree angle, allowing us now to more easily fill in these now valleys that we have created. We can use mesh tape, or we could use joint tape. The reason why we're going to use the mesh is because it will more easily get into this unusual crevice here. If I use this, the plaster is dependent upon this paper absorbing the moisture from the plaster and bonding it to this wall. And this is too unstable for me to count on that. The mesh, on the other hand, will get in there. You see that? How it gets into that little crevice there? So this is your choice. Now, brush this out, vacuum it out, make sure all the loose particles are out. And here's a little trick. Give it a little wet spray, mist, with water, or take some hairspray and fill it in there and get this tacked down. We're going to use some 5-minute mud in a mud pan and mix it up and work really quickly. If you find that there's a gap between the repair piece and the existing sheetrock, use the existing sheetrock to build yourself a flush finish by using your blade to ride against the existing sheetrock so as to fill in the patch piece. I did not patch this. I've been called to make this look correct. And so that's what this video is about. So I'm working on the outer perimeter of the repair. Why is that? Because the repair piece goes in. And so I'm building a steep outer perimeter so that I can fill in the middle to make the wall flush. And so if it goes in here, then I need to build it out here so that when I fill it in here, I don't have a ridge from here against here. So I'm killing that problem by doing the outer first, coming into the middle. As we let this harden up, and it only takes about 10 minutes to get really, firm to reapply, even though it's 5-minute mud. I've built around, and you can see that my repair sheet is indented, but we're compensating for that by building around it, and then we're going to build the center. It's easy to build the center when you start outside than to do it vice versa. It's been 8 minutes, so I'm just going to tool, T-O-O-L, off any rough edges. Still using the outer perimeter as the edge against which to ride my blade, I continue to fill in the center. Using my blade to ride up against the outer perimeter, I shave off the high points on the inner perimeter, so that when the inner perimeter becomes my outer perimeter, as I close in on the center, my surface remains flush. Concentrating on our center, we're going near the center, riding against the outer perimeter of the center so that we can fill in our center using the outer perimeter level, if you will, to guide us into what should be the level of the inner perimeter. Do you see this gap here? That means that this 1/8 of an inch is the difference between the outer perimeter and the inner perimeter area. That's what that means. So we have to fill that in. Don't be tempted to go into the middle and fill that in. You'll mess up your whole flush level. Right on the outer perimeter. It'll direct as to how much plaster goes in the center. And now we'll just shave off the highs in that center and finish up by filling in the center. Taking my blade, I now gently ride against the surface, and the blade will shave off any highs. As you can see, our center is pretty good. Nothing getting shaved in the center, which is exactly what we wanted. Okay, our last application of the quick drying mud, using the outer perimeter to fill in our circle. We bring that blade closer and closer to the center, using the outer perimeter as our guide of level. It's telling us what level the center should be, so that the center is neither inverted or protruding. And as you can see, there's work to do in that center because we have a gap there, and that's how much we have built it up. We will again shave the center if there's any high points, and then we will use a topping compound to fill in any waves that may exist as a result of this repair. Taking our blade once again, using the outer perimeter, we want to shave off any high points that exist on our repair. And as you can see, that's a high, and we're trying to shave that down. I'm very satisfied with the result. You're going to hold the blade at a 0 degree angle, just about. Because if you raise it even up to 10 degrees, you'll stab the plaster and you'll have to repair it again. We're ready to put the topping compound on. Taking a side view of the repair, we can tell that we're pretty much on the mark. You don't see any protrusions, even at this point in the early stage of the repair. We're now going to introduce a topping compound, joint compound, which is more loosely constituted, which will make it easier on your arm to spread. But you wouldn't use this as the filler that we used prior to this frame of the video. The reason being is that we had to build it up, so we need something that was quick drying. Secondly, this material you're looking at is more dense, less apt to shrink on you. And so even though this shrinks, we don't mind because we're just topping it off to fill in any waves and any little divots that we have. I like to add a little water, just missed it, to make the compound just a little bit smoother. All right. And that is our finished product. We will sand this and then we will apply texture. Okay, this is an hour and a half later. And it's white around the repair, but in the center it's not cured fully yet, but it's sandable. We're going to be sanding it with a 9-inch orbital sander with this tool, this Festool drywall sander. Okay, so if we're looking to hide this and we don't want to see a bump, we need to look on the side, and we're really looking good there. Okay, using Zinsser's 123 primer, I'm going to use a 3/8 inch nap so I don't make any texture on this surface and seal this up. And with our fan on the surface, we will let this dry for 15 minutes. Now, our texture is mild. I have a hopper here and a compressor, but I've opted for the can, crossing my fingers. I purchased this at Sherwin-Williams. It's a water-based product. And you just follow the directions as to how you use this tip. Okay, so don't be shy. You got to press all the way. So we're going to go quickly, which this is obviously a mock-up. We're going to see if we can match this texture. Now, let's see. Did we match it? I like it right there. Okay, so I know I got to move quickly. After this goes on initially, the air comes out of it and these things kind of settle down. So I'm happy with that. I have it set on all the way low, backwards toward this back part. Okay, now unlike the plaster repair where we started on the perimeter and worked toward the center, we're going to work from the center out toward the perimeter, doing what's called feathering it out. Okay? I'm 36 inches plus away. I can always add more. I can always move in closer for a more intense effect. Or bigger particles, but I can't put them on too big because I can't reduce them without making a mess and scraping them off. Let's do it again. I'm shaking the can. This is feathering it out. Yes, there's no repair over here. However, you want to ease your texture repair and make it all match, right? The reason why we're looking to match it is because we got the rest of the room, right? So we can't do something completely unique. We have to keep it consistent with the rest of the room. I've sprayed it twice. I went a little bigger. I raised my tip that way. And so I want to finish off just a little bigger because I anticipate when they dry and the air comes out that they're going to get too small. I don't want them too pointy either. You see how that is? I got some big ones. I got some little ones there. Yeah, it's a little bigger. The orifice is now open a little more, allowing a little more material to come out. I think I'll be happy with this finished look. You tell me what you think. I am literally 40 inches away from this wall. The pressure is awesome coming out of this can. I got this from Sherwin-Williams. I highly recommend this. Usually these cans are hit and miss. I don't mean this brand, but texture in a can has been hit and miss for me, but not with this product. Okay. What's key here is that we let this dry. You don't want to start painting this right away. You'll flatten it out and you will have wasted your time. I think it's good. I'll be using a lambskin roller for this job, for semi-smooth surfaces.